Hello, beautiful people. So first of all, yes, I'm in bed. Yes, I'm in my dressing gown. And yes, it is almost 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Pretty much everything I've done the last day and a half has been in rebellion or protest of the routine that I have been upholding for however long. And it's been really challenging because it's involved a lot of self-sabotage, a lot of feelings of self-loathing and not feeling worthy, not enough, all these feelings showing up and manifesting in my actions and the self-loathing behavior towards myself. But oftentimes the ironic thing is that it usually takes, for me anyway, it usually takes to a point of feeling the pain so much that it actually kickstarts action or kickstarts the reflection process to ask ourselves, what is going on for me? What are the underlying emotions or feelings or states that are coming up for me? Does anything need to change internally or externally? And out of those things that need to change, what is in my realm of control and what do I need to surrender to in order to grow and evolve? And I think it's important we ask ourselves those questions so that we don't take a step backwards into our comfort zone or to something that feels safe, but we actually lean into that discomfort and get real with ourselves in a way where we're challenging ourselves to grow. We're challenging ourselves to really face the pain, look inward, and to develop as a human being. Because, trust me, it can be super challenging. So pretty much this video is just going to be a little reflection of where I'm at right now for myself. I find it easier to speak out. Also because I don't really feel like I can talk to anybody. Yeah, okay, most of us are lucky enough to have friends or family, and I do have friends or family I can talk to, but I just don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm putting stuff onto them unless I've taken the time to ask myself these deeper questions. And I feel a bit of shame and embarrassment for some of the things that I've done. And, you know, fuck perfection. We're never perfect, but it can be really challenging. And I know that. And it's ironic that I'm putting it out in a video, but anyway. So pretty much where I'm at. This video is for anybody who's been struggling with anxiety, feeling really stuck or confused, or what am I doing or what can I do? And specifically around disordered eating or body image, self-sabotage, stuff like that as well. So, little story. I'm down in my family's home and they're overseas at the moment. Came down last night. I called in sick for work today. The level of anxiety I was experiencing was very overwhelming and I just needed to escape. In saying I needed to escape, that is my coping mechanism. When we have the fight, flight, or freeze response, they're all mechanisms that can play out when we're trying to run away from pain, fear, anxiety, grief, whatever emotion we're experiencing or situation. The first thing to ask yourself is, what is your tendency? Are you the kind of person that will fight and face it and, want to just get in there and fix it straight away? Are you the kind of person that freezes and goes into more numbing behaviors and self-soothing behaviors? Or are you the person that more typically runs away and distracts through avoidance behaviors? I, for one, definitely an avoidant type. However, I do have a tendency to numb as well, specifically through food, exercise, sexuality, and not in a very constructive way. So start paying attention to the way that you respond when you're feeling anxiety or fear in particular. So Avoidant behaviors can be shutting yourself off, isolating yourself, literally running away, or wanting to change everything in your life right then and there. So avoidant can also be, it can be action, but it's not action by facing your present circumstances. It's action by creating something completely different in your life and running away to that. So that's something I've been asking myself more of, but pretty much the story of why I'm making this video is I have made videos on this before, but years ago I really struggled with disordered eating, with restrictive eating, so I just didn't eat, right? So I got super skinny, very restrictive, very perfectionistic tendencies. Then I started binge eating down the track, maybe 2012 is when it really started to take a toll, and ever since then I have struggled with binge eating, and I've also struggled with excessive obsessive exercise tendencies, exercising for hours in a day, pretty much my whole life surrounding by thinking about food, controlling my food, hiding my food, exercising, whatever it was. And it can really take its toll, but sometimes if you're the kind of person that likes to have a routine and you know you can get a little bit obsessed with that routine, the way you can know if it's a routine that is serving you or not serving you is by tuning into the emotions that you experience when you think about that routine, or what purpose is it serving really. And one way we can do that is by asking the 5 whys. So why am I doing this routine? And then see what your answer is and ask why again, why, until you get to the deeper why. And maybe we can do it together now. So my old routine was getting up at 4:50 in the morning, having a cold shower, rushing to the gym, coming back and meditating, eating my breakfast in my room, and then leaving the house. Lately, my routine has been sleeping until 6:30, getting up, meditating, breakfast, get out of the house, and then stay in my room, have my last meal by 4 p.m., stay in my bedroom, and then go to the gym at like 8:30 to 9:30 to 10:30 at night. Why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing it because I'm more productive in the morning and I usually feel sad at night, so I can exercise and release the energy. Okay. Well, why am I doing it though? Well, I'm doing it because I was actually getting a lot of anxiety in the morning, and I think it's probably better to do more soothing, regulating, calming things first thing in the morning. Okay, why am I doing it? I'm doing it actually because I want to avoid my flatmates, and I know that they sleep in the morning so I can, not see them. And they're always home at night time, so if I have my last meal early and go to the gym, I don't have to see them. So why am I doing it? Well, I'm doing it because my flatmates talk a lot about body image and measuring their thighs and exercise and yoga and diet culture, and I don't want to be surrounded by that. It feels really overwhelming and triggering for me. So why am I doing it? Well, I'm doing it because that way my flatmates never have to see me eat. I can eat in my room, clean up the dishes when they're not there, and so it looks like I'll never eat, I'll never get comments on my food, and I can just protect and isolate and avoid. Okay, so that's the real reason. I'm triggered by my flatmates, I'm controlling my food intake so I don't have to be judged or seen. And what is this? Is this serving my higher self? That's the next question you ask. Once you get to the deeper why. Okay, so that's the deeper why. Is this serving my higher self? Is this serving the best version of myself? Probably not. Hey, probably not, because look at how that's affecting other areas of your life. I'm so attached to my routine now that I'm not making time for socializing because I have to go to the gym in the night. I get social anxiety at home because I'm always timing my meals and planning around when my flatmates aren't there. I feel like a stranger in my own home because I'm not focused on creating a relaxing environment for myself. I'm focused on, hiding in my room and only coming out when people aren't there and just being super aware of conversations and not feeling triggered. So I don't see how any of these things are serving my higher self. And okay, so I've got my deeper why. I've got, is it serving me? No. And what emotions are underlying that? For me, I know in particular the emotions of anxiety, or the emotion of fear, the state of anxiety. I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling ashamed, and I'm feeling guilty because I'm starting to model my eating behaviors of everybody around me, not tuning in with myself, and feeling like shit through comparison. Okay, so the main thing that I'm feeling is fear and anxiety. The next question you can ask yourself is, where do you feel that in your body? For me, I know I feel anxiety here in my brow area. My breath gets really tight and short. I get really bloated, and I just feel very uncomfortable in my body. Okay, so then what kind of thoughts are you experiencing? Usually the inner critic comes out. So what does the inner critic sound like? For me, it sounds like you're a shit person, you're not enough, you're going to get fat, you need to do more, you haven't done enough, you need to go out there and do it, go to the gym more often, you need to eat better, you need to eat less, you need to be more active, you need to be more productive. It's just like it never ends. It's always, by telling myself I have to be more, it's saying that I'm not enough. And last night, when I came down to Bowral, I binged for the first time in a long time, like a proper binge, and it was really bad. And the reason I say everything I've done the last, 48 hours or 24 hours and a bit more has been the exact opposite is because I didn't realize how restrictive I was still being in Sydney. I felt restrictive. I couldn't express myself in the household. I couldn't eat the foods that I wanted to eat. I wasn't listening to my body. I was pushing myself to go to the gym all the time. My mindset was restrictive. My lifestyle was restrictive. And when I came down last night, I was just like, fuck, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to stay up to whatever time I want to stay up to. I'm going to do whatever I want. So all the self-sabotaging behaviors that you could think of, I did last night. I overate. I was mindless on social media. I watched pornography. It just wasn't good. And the reason I say that is because then the other voice comes in to be like, holy shit, what did I just do? I need to make up for it. So it's like, okay, well, I'll sleep in and I won't eat until 12 because it means that, hopefully I can fast by then and then I'll only have 1 or 2 meals, if that. And I'll tell you, every time I've tried to make up for it or control myself the next day, it always backfires. So I said that to myself. I did a HIIT routine this morning. I didn't eat till 12. And then, of course, because I said I could only have 1 meal, I'm like, I'm still hungry. I'm not allowed to eat. And then what do? Go and binge eat again. So I'm at the point now where I need to ask myself, and you might need to ask yourself if you're still watching, does anything in your life need to change? Does anything internally need to shift? And does anything externally need to shift? Because we all know that nature and nurture both play a role. So quickly, I can see that, okay, if I'm really honest with myself, I actually think that my living situation might have to change. And that's in my control. I think that internally I need to just work on more self-love and self-acceptance and listening to myself. That can change. So what things can I change, but I'm just going to surrender to? Well, my work and my uni, I don't really want to change either of those things. They are in my control, but whatever. Okay, but in the interim, if I am going to find a new place, I'm going to have to surrender and stop fighting against the thoughts and the feelings that I'm having that only dig me into a hole and go from one extreme to the other, where I'm super obsessive and structured and then completely letting go and self-sabotaging and self-soothing and avoiding. Now, I don't know if this has been such a rant and so quick as well, but lastly, I want to give you a few tools that you can use. Number one, first is in interpersonal relationships. So setting of boundaries, I'm realizing, is something that's really important in the process of honoring yourself and in the process of recognizing your own worth. So if somebody asks you to do something or really is disrespecting you or passive aggressive or, destructive, practice setting boundaries and saying, you know what? This doesn't work for me, or that's not working for me, or stop. No. So practice being assertive, because assertiveness actually, when you're assertive, you're wanting to have a win-win situation for both you and the other person. And they're learning that they can't just walk all over other people, and you're respecting them enough to actually let them know how you feel, because that's showing that you value the relationship. And sometimes you're going to have to walk away, but sometimes if the person's receptive, the relationship can deepen because you're not being walked all over. So if there's anybody in your life that is creating tension or you're triggered by, practice saying, you know what, this doesn't work for me, or I don't appreciate, or, when you say that, I feel this is my experience. And make sure you're owning the experience so you're not projecting onto them. Not like, you make me feel, or you did that. It's like, hey, I just want to really let you know that when I hear you talking about body image and fat loss and restrictive eating, I notice that I feel, like all these old emotions come up for me, and I realize it's actually not okay. It doesn't work for me, and I'm not the best person for you to be sharing this with. And so I'd appreciate if you could keep those opinions or those thoughts or those topics to yourself or share with somebody else. So another thing we can do is when we start to have obsessive thoughts and controlling, like that whole thought of like, shit, I need to do this, or I'm a really bad person, or I need to go to the gym, otherwise I'm worth nothing. Start to identify that it's actually not you, and it's old patterns of behavior and thoughts, and we actually need to start rewiring the brain. So if I have that thought, it was like, you know what, I'm so exhausted, I think I'm just going to rest today, or I said my last meal was by 4, but it's 7 p.m. and I'm actually really hungry. Instead of saying, like, if you eat, you're a failure and you're a horrible person and you have to make up for it tomorrow, it's just like, oh, that's just my brain doing its thing, being compulsive and controlling. But I'm actually going to choose to be self-compassionate and loving instead. And then at that point where you can actually switch it from control and compulsiveness to acceptance, mindfulness, and lovingness, immediately following that, think about something that brings you joy and makes you happy. So it might be a song, it might be visualizing nature, it might be, your family or your friends, and visualize that so you can start to secure that bond and you can start to link that and make that the default rather than the compulsive, destructive thinking. Another thing we can do is meditate, which there's no explanation needed for that. There's so many online videos. Another one we can do is if you're in nature or somewhere where you're not going to affect your neighbors, is some primal screaming and just let it out. Another one we can do is through movement, dance, walking, running, just moving the body to release. Mindfulness, just labeling things for what they are and not buying into the story. And I think something that I'm constantly working on is having those one or two people where you feel like you can be seen and heard and witnessed for who you are and have the space provided to you just to share, because we have all the answers within. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. We have all the answers within. We have all the answers within, we really do. And sometimes when we want to share with other people, we're not looking for advice. We're not looking for validation, confirmation, opinions. We're looking to be seen, heard, and witnessed for all of us. The light, the dark, the strong, the weak, the vulnerable, the excitable. And I think cultivating those deeper relationships, I think we're lucky even if we have one person who can do that. But I know that my mission moving forward, everybody whose life I am touched by or come into contact with, I really do believe my mission is to be that person. I believe that a lot of people don't have anybody. So if I can be that person that is asking, hey, just tell me what's going on for you and what that feels like, and sit, truly listen, provide the space for them to be seen, witnessed, loved, and heard for all that they are and all that you are, I think there's an immense healing potential behind that. And I want people to feel like they are worthy of being seen and heard in their wholeness, encompassing everything that we are. And I think sometimes it does take another person to create that for you to share before we can start to do it for ourselves. Because ideally I'd love to do it for myself as well, but it can really take a while because, like I said, my default is to run away and avoid. So I'm working on that. And yeah, so that was a very long video, but pretty much ask yourself today, what's going on for you? Does anything need to change internally, externally? Is it in your control, or do you have to surrender to it? What's the underlying emotions? Where do you feel it in your body? Why are you doing what you're doing? The 5 whys. Why? What are the thoughts? And then start to apply some of those techniques as well. Setting boundaries, identifying and rewiring the brain, meditation, movement, connection. And I think that it's not a linear journey, but if you ever want to reach out, I'm here, and thank you for watching if you did, and sending you lots and lots of love.